Or as somebody whispered in his ear, yes, Keir, give us a contract and we'll supply them for you. Need to remember it's going to be heavy. Keir Starmer, I'd like to invite you to my gym and we'll do a nice one-to-one chat. We'll do a few deadlifts. Welcome back. Happy long bank holiday weekend, yes. And we're just going to get out of the way from now. Ofsted have not been. So those who are on Ofsted watch with me, they've not been. We're going to leave it there, see what happens this week coming, see if they call on Tuesday. But we're going to just park it and not mention it again throughout the rest of this session. What we are going to mention, though, is the fact that we are going heavy today and potentially going to break another PB because we have been programmed a lot of singles. So we're starting off 55, then up to 60, then 65, and then we're on singles. Now I put in the 95 because my coach left these two blank. She said go up to 90 and then she left 2 blank depending on how I feel. And obviously I like to challenge myself. So I've already done 92 kg before December. So I think I should be able to reach that today. And then I put 95, 3 kilo jump is a lot, it is, but you know, we've got to try. So we'll see. If I don't do the 95, then I'll just drop down to 93 because it'll still be a PB. So because of that, I really need to make sure that I warm up properly today. It is so hot, hence the vest on today. But we're going to make sure we do a nice proper warm up because I do not want to be injuring anything. I want to be able to enjoy my bank holiday Monday and not spend the whole day in A&E because that's not what bank holidays are made for. And then I want to talk about phones and mobile phones in schools and this U-turn the government's done because of peer pressure to actually make it mandatory that schools ban phones as opposed to the guidance that they gave in February. But we'll come back to that after we've done our warm-up. As the usual warm-up, nothing changes for the deadlift warm-up. We'll do 12 pigeon pulses on each side and then the sweeps, hamstring sweeps, the toe taps, the shoulder taps, and the rear leg deadlifts going from 35 up to 40. 3 sets in total. I've done 1 set already, and this is the second. Those of you who have been with me from the beginning will appreciate when I say I am going to be very careful when I check the weights this week. Now I know that I've said that every week, and every week so far I've got something wrong, but checking the weights, checking what I've written down, and every part of it I've written down. It's like when you have the kids at school, isn't it? You say, read the question, look at what it says on the question. And then they say, oh, I can't work it out, I can't. And it's like, it's right there. Read what it says. You get that feeling, that's me. Read what the program says. Read what the weights say, what's on the bar. I need to take my own advice. So we're loading it at the moment with 55 kg. For an easy 5 at 55 kg. That'll be easy. It's that time of year when I need to bring out the towels. It's hot. I'm bringing out this one. This is one my bestie got when I turned 50. I don't know if it'll come up correct, but it says man the weightlifter. So time to start using it. Because man the weightlifter is man the hot weightlifter today. And that can have double meanings, and I'll take the double meaning. Starting on 55, 5 at 55. straightforward, very easy, keeping close to the body. And I'm going to bring you back when we get to 90 kg. We've now gone up to 90 kg, and this is where I have to remind myself that it's heavy, and it's meant to be heavy. Ooh, a bit of a wobble there to start. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but we had a bit of a wobble, wobble, but we got there, we got it. Okay, so this is my PB weight, 92 kg. Just need to make sure I get my positioning right. Just take my time with it. Okay, 92 kg in the bag. My next lift is going to be a PB, so I need to just kind of get myself into the frame of mind, into the mode. And what better way than to talk about phones, mobile phones. Because the other day, one of the students in my school, bearing in mind I'm a primary school, was just coming into school, and she thought, I was like, oh, you know, come on in. She thought, I'm just on the phone. And I didn't see her with a phone in her hand, a physical phone, but she was like with her watch. But it suddenly made me think about this whole issue that the government have now finally conceded and are going to put a mandatory ban on phones in schools. If you're outside of the UK, then this may be like, oh yeah, we've done it ages ago. If you're Australia or New Zealand, one of those did them earlier in the year. But what the UK government did, and there was a lot of push from various organisations like unions, teachers' unions, and different MPs as well, that wanted to have the ban on mobile phones in schools. But Keir Starmer, for whatever reason, who knows, decided that no, we're not going to insist that schools have a ban, because his thought was, well, most schools have got a policy on phones anyway, so why do we need to interfere? And so because the guidelines were sent out in February, and these were only guidelines. So when you have guidelines, you can do whatever you like, to be fair. You can totally ignore them, or you can follow them to the letter of the law. And so most schools did have something in their behaviour policy about phones. Some schools, it was about phones not being out at all. So from the moment you come through the school gate, no phones at all. Some schools, it was don't have phones on in your lessons. Some schools where you can have your phone, but make sure it's on silent. Some schools, yeah, you know, break times, lunch times, communal areas, phones, no problem. So different schools did different things, because ultimately it's about what you needed to work for your school. But we know that there are so many issues with children and young people having phones in school. You know, cyberbullying, you've got the whole content creation, when you are humiliating members of staff and you kind of film, video that, upload it. There are a whole host of other reasons why secondary schools might want to ban them. I don't work in a secondary school, and all I know is that at primary school level, in the morning, when you're in the playground, you put your phone in a box and don't see it again until the end of the day. Not a problem. And students are used to this. Year 5 and 6 are usually the ones that bring their phone. If they bring them in year 4, the parent has to write a letter to explain why their child needs to have a phone in school in year 4, because mainly in year 4 in London, I can only speak for my school. In my school, at year 4, most children still go home with a parent or with an adult, so they don't really need to have a mobile phone in schools. But year 5, year 6, tendency is they go home on their own. But we keep their phones from the minute they come in the school gates in the morning. But secondary school, totally different kettle of fish. And so I can appreciate why they would have a ban on phones. But in one, it's just incredulous that Keir Starmer just keeps doing these back turns. You know, it's like, make up your mind what you want to do. So 1 minute he's saying, oh no, make it, you know, mandatory, make it guidance. It's up to schools. It's non-statutory. You don't have to do it. Next minute, he's obviously bowed to some peer pressure and decide, okay, we're going to put it in statute. Going to add it to a bill that's already out there. Amend that bill and make it law that children, young people cannot have their phones on them in school. Now, it's all well and good saying that, In theory, it sounds fantastic. You put it in your behaviour plan, in your behaviour policy, no phones in school. But you will get those parents and those students who will say, but I need to have my phone on me because, and then there will be a whole list of reasons as to why they need to have their phones on them. Now, from my perspective, a student doesn't need to have their phone on in school because if a parent wants to get hold of them, they'll phone the main switchboard, get somebody in the school office. If it's urgent, then that person will go to the child's class and find them and pass on a message. There's no other reason for a student to have their phone in school with them. Now, years ago, I used to work for a company called RM, and I mentioned this in a previous video, and we were trying to find all kinds of reasons why it's a fantastic idea for students to have their phones in the class with them. But that's not the case anymore. But the problem is, and I might have spoken about this, I come to mind, I might have spoken about this a few weeks ago, but maybe not in depth. The problem is that you are asking schools to do something that they are ill-equipped, a lot of them, to do on a large scale. Because if you're starting a school from scratch, you can establish the behaviour policy from the outset. This is our rules for our school. You come to our school, these are the expectations. When you're a very established school with students who are used to being able to do things one way, it's a culture shift. You are changing the culture of the school from a school where students were able to have their phones during break time or lunchtime to now a zero ban. So from year 7 in September 2026, I think it's 2026, from year 7s you are not allowed to have your phone. And so obviously that will filter through. But there's going to be parents who have children in year 7 and parents who have children in year 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 who are like, but why is it one rule for one student and one for the other? Because shouldn't there just be a blanket ban? Not starting from year 7, it should be starting from September, a ban across the board for the school. I don't know, if you're a secondary teacher, tell me. But the other thing that I kind of thought about was, well, what happens when you've got a smartwatch? Because that's a phone, and although a smartwatch often works on a mobile phone, if you've got, it shares the same data, some watches don't, and some watches have their own data plan. And so students could very much have their phone in school still be sending WhatsApp messages, still be sending, on TikTok or whatever other apps are connected to a mobile phone and carry on regardless. It's just a smaller version of a phone. So when I saw this student the other day, I was like, oh, should I be banning smartwatches as well? Because we've kind of been very conscious of children who've had smartwatches because we don't want them to be using a camera. But it didn't ever occur to me that children might use them to use their phone. And maybe that's naivety, maybe it's because of the lovely students that we've got and none of them would, and this student was using her watch to make a call outside of school, and I completely know the reason why she was using her watch in terms of an incident that happened about a year ago. So I completely understand why she's got that instead of a phone. But then there's this where's the boundary? Because it's still a device that you can use to make calls. The details of this bill are that it's a phone or similar devices. So is a watch a similar device in the same realms of a mobile phone? And if so, are we now confiscating all the Apple watches, all the Galaxy watches, all the other smart watches there are because they can have the same function as a phone? Because if so, that's a lot. That is a lot of things to confiscate at the beginning of the day. If that is the case, schools need to have somewhere where they're going to store all this. One of the solutions is to allow schools to have those containers, those storage units where you put mobile phones in. But they're expensive because you need a lot of them. And so therefore, is that something that the government are expecting schools to shell out for? Because if so, then we're already in a deficit budget, so you're going to just push us over the edge. So if the government are bringing in this expectation that all phones need to be banned, they need to make sure they help schools too. That's just made me think of something else. So they need to make sure that schools have got the provision to be able to store these phones at the beginning of the day. But what that suddenly reminded me of is when we had lockdown. And suddenly we had all these laptops that were coming into school from some company somewhere who had this contract to supply schools with laptops that were, quite frankly, useless. They did not last very long at all. We had, as an aside, when I first started at my school in 2019, in the summer 2019, we purchased 30 laptops. We've only just got rid of those 30 laptops because they've just become obsolete, and they were refurbished laptops when we bought them. The governors were like, okay, refurbished laptops, we know that in 3 years' time we're going to have to refresh them. 7 years later, it's only now that we're getting rid of them. The government laptops that we got during lockdown, Mm, 2 years, if I'm being generous, 3 at a push they lasted. They were useless. But it's made me think, well, is that what the idea is? Are they going to get some of their friends who own certain businesses to suddenly produce these lockers where you can put mobile phones in and then suddenly start supplying them to schools? It wouldn't surprise me. Watch this. Listen, don't say if anything like that happens. If you suddenly get contacted by a government official who says, or is somebody whispered in his ear, yes, Keir, give us a contract and we'll supply them for you. Let's just look. What's the date today? It's the third of May, 2026. Let's see. I may be wrong. Maybe my conspiracy theory is in the wrong direction. But you know, we've seen it too often with the PFI projects, like I said, with the laptops during COVID, with these air filter units. It's all too convenient. It's all too convenient. But anyway, that's my theory. That's my theory. If you agree, let me know. If you think I'm barking up the wrong tree, let me know. If you're one of these who could possibly, benefit from this, I would love to interview you. Come to my gym. Come and talk to me here. We can have the head teacher's gym with a government official. Bridget Phillips and Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, I'd like to invite you to my gym and we'll do a nice one-to-one chat. We'll do a few deadlifts, a few barbells, and you can tell me why you suddenly had this U-turn from February to May, from it being guidance to mandatory. Keir Starmer, you know where I am if you need me. Anyway, I need to do a PB. I'm probably not going to push it too much. I'm going to go to 94. Oh, got butterflies. I'm going to go to 94. 94 kg. 2 kg above my last PB. Let's do this. Okay. 94 kg. Need to remember it's going to be heavy. Let me just make sure. 20 plus 15 is 35, 70, 80, 85, 90, 92, 94. Oh yeah! Woo! And you know what? I probably had more in the bag. I probably actually had more in the bag. I really probably did. But we're not going to jinx it. We're not going to kind of ruin it by trying that today. 94 kg, people. That's a PB. Well, to say I am happy clearly is an understatement. But haven't quite finished the workout yet. I've got just thankfully a gentle last little bit to do, a Tabata. So 20-second hollow hold, and then 20-second rest, and then 8 of those, and then 8 same with planks, 20 seconds, and 10-second holds, kind of as a round. But I am mighty pleased with myself today. So yeah, leave a comment below to let me know. Leave a thumbs up if you like the fact that I got my PB. Like the video, because we are on the way to 100 kg, people. We are on the way to 100 kg deadlift. It's coming. It's coming. It's on its way. And I'd love you to be with me when I hit that 100k. So please just subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Just leave a hey, or a ho, or a yo, or a well done. The road to 100 kg. See you in the next video.